Let me ask you a question. What did your last boss steal from you? Was it your weekend, your family time, your sleep, your sanity? For years, they called it resilience. Us, we called it theist. But today, we're calling it for what it truly is, the biggest lie your office ever sold you. You're about to learn why logging off at 5 p.m. isn't laziness, man. It's the only smart move left. Today, we're talking about what quiet quitting really is and expose the emotional blackmail behind theist culture. Stick around for some actionable advice that I picked up along the way for almost 2 decades of doing this, because it's time to take more time back into our lives. Let's get this over with. Tara. In the Filipino workplace, the performance debate is a brutal ideological war. It's the conflict between theist culture, which is the old mandate, and the new discarte. The fundamental reason for the clash is simple. Our parents endured this culture because it paid off. They were guaranteed pension, lifetime job security, and the tangible goal of buying a house. For us, the reality is a raw deal. We suffer and sacrifice, but the guaranteed reward is burnout and a stagnant 5% raise that inflation eats up instantly. We realize that the company stopped being loyal a long time ago, and we're now refusing to pay for a loyalty program that only benefits the people at the top. To understand the value of quiet quitting, you must understand how this culture specifically drains you, your time, and your potential wealth. First, the free labor tax or the hidden cost. What this is working overtime for free, seeing unpaid effort as dedication. The math behind this is fairly simple. If you work 1 hour of unpaid overtime every day, that's five free hours a week. That's over 250 free hours a year that you've donated to a multi-million peso corporation, most likely. This is labor you could have easily monetized on a side hustle or spent time recovering your health or getting some much needed daddy or mommy time back. The lesson here is fairly straightforward. Loyalty is paid for in money, not guilt. If you aren't compensated, you are subsidizing someone else's profit with your life. Second, the burnout dividend. What this is the pressure to be resilient means you are expected to handle an unsustainable workload without complaining. The deception part comes in when the company gets maximum productivity for minimal cost. I've seen this so many times with the other businesses that I partnered with. When you finally burn out, you quit and they replace you with a fresh, cheaper new grad ready to enter the cycle. If you think about it, the company never loses, only you do. The lesson here is your sanity is not a KPI. Burnout is not a badge of honor, my friend. It's a financial and health debt that we all have to individually pay for in the future because the company refused to hire enough help. Quiet quitting is not about being lazy. For me, it's the disciplined and strategic act of setting and building a firewall between your contracted value at work and your personal self. Here's some tips. First is the scope filter. This is all for protecting your boundaries. When you get a request outside of your job description, you say yes out of hiya or fear. How do we use the scope filter? Say something like, I'm happy to take this on to make sure that my core tasks, insert the list, are not affected. Which of these should I deprioritize to free up time to pull this off? Think of it that way. What happens here is you force management to either formally acknowledge your current workload, proving that you aren't lazy, or pay you for the extra task, making your
Yeah,
labor
boy.
valuable. You make them decide what to sacrifice, not you. By the way, never underestimate the power of elementary English. It's simple, clearer, and more efficient way to be understood by everyone. This is not the time to flex your vocabulary. You know, those active LinkedIn squads, thought leader wannabes who post regularly, but they don't really do squat in here at all.
Bruh.
Workplace communications is all about being understood clearly and easily. Okay, slightly off tangent, but let's go back. Number two, master the 5 p.m. visibility. This is all about managing perceptions as well. The problem here is leaving on time makes you feel judged. Pinagbubulungan ka, ganyan. Here's the hack. Become hyper efficient and loudly visible about your tasks before 5 p.m. At 4:45, you can send a final status to your Teams group or your emails and send a final update. Projects A, B complete. Logging off for the evening, we'll tackle Project C first thing tomorrow. What this does is this signals control and preparedness. You're not sneaking out, you're closing your business for the day. It shifts the perception of your departure from laziness to professionalism. Oh, and for what it's worth, remember, you're only being judged or criticized by people who do less than you.
Ugh.
Three, shift loyalty to time investment, the true ROI. Here's the problem: you feel guilty for investing time outside of work. This is how you get it done. Reframe your mind. Your new loyalty is to yourself, your goals. You got to have at least one or two of them, all right? Your upskilling, your family, and your health. The time you save by quiet quitting is now an investment hour in your escape plan in the grand scheme of things. Every hour you reclaim is an hour spent working on the life you actually want rather than the life the company wants you to have. You're replacing unpaid loyalty with self funded growth. Quiet quitting is not a sign of a bad employee, it's a necessary sign of a self aware, strategic, and valuable individual. It's the essential discard that you need to claim your life back from a system that was never truly designed to let you win. We're not going to be rude. I know it's rich coming from me, but we're going to be smart. Quiet quitting the Pinoy way means implementing a strategic defense that protects your energy while maintaining your reputation. Let's dive a bit deeper in a few things for you. First is the document everything rule. The problem here is when the Pinoy's reflex is to immediately say yes to extra work out of hiya or shame or fear, diba? Fear of confrontation, which then makes the extra work your new permanent job. This is where you use the scope filter. Never let your work speak for itself. You speak for your work. Every time your boss assigns a task outside your core job or your core duties, reply with a simple professional email or response. That forces accountability on the manager, not on you. What it does is it makes you look smart, not lazy. You're not refusing the work, technically. You're just reminding them of the cost of the trade off. You shift the burden of saying yes to an impossible schedule back to the person who gets paid more to make that decision. Second is the visible boundary strategy, making 5 p.m. the norm. This is where the TS culture makes you feel leaving on time, like you're sneaking out, leaving you vulnerable to judgment. Use the professional shutdown. Stop apologizing for having a life. You do not need to say, sorry, I have to go now. Instead, establish confident and firm boundaries combined with proactive closure responses. Send an EOD every day. Key items A and B completed. We'll address X and Y first thing tomorrow morning. Have a great rest of the day, everyone. No explanation needed. What this does for you is by announcing your closure and logging off exactly at the agreed time, you make the 5 p.m. exit the norm, not the exception. You're communicating that you're disciplined, finished, and ready for the next day. You're not fleeing the office. For the corporate people out there, the jargon judo, this is all about defending your focus. Here's an example. When a tita tito manager asks why you're doing extra work, they're looking for an emotional answer, like I'm dedicated, that kind of thing. As for you, your mind should frame it as focus and quality. This time, use management language to defend your personal time, making your strategic laziness sound like high level efficiency. Say something like, ma'am, sir, John, Jane, I'm limiting my focus to my core tasks to ensure I meet my targets this month. What you're doing here is you're using the language of management, SLA, strategy, efficiency, all these boring ass terms
True.
to defend a personal choice. You're using the system against itself, not a lazy employee avoiding responsibility. These steps allow you to quiet quit the Pinoy way. You're not sacrificing your job, you're sacrificing the unpaid expectations that are slowly killing your future. You're being strategic, not lazy. Look, the bottom line is this: quiet quitting isn't about giving up on work. It's about finally refusing to work for free. It's the ultimate discarte, the smart strategy you need to protect your time, your energy, and the future you're trying so hard to build. We're not bad people, we're not bad employees. We're just great employees for ourselves now. Your loyalty shouldn't be to a company that only signed a contract with you for 8 hours a day. Your loyalty belongs to the life you're trying to escape into. So it's time to stop pouring effort into a job that treats you like an asset and start pouring it onto yourself. Ikaw, what's that one ridiculous tiis habit, that maybe free overtime, that weekend check-in, that you're finally quitting this week? Share your confession below in the comments if you have the time. Let's normalize protecting our energies together. You know, if you're done with the burnout and ready to redefine what resilience truly means, hit that subscribe button. Join us here on the channel or on Discord if you have the time to, do a little bit of a chit chat, of course. And also, we have a new and exciting podcast series coming really, really soon. The After Shift podcast. It's right here on Minecraft Media on YouTube. We'll be sitting down with a lot of interesting people, personalities that mostly started rough, but eventually dominated in their respective fields. I'm pretty sure you know a couple of them. They're more than generous to share their approaches on how we can best fulfill our own goals and potential, but it's mostly just some high-level chismisan. It's gonna be fun. And as always, salamat for watching.